Some of you may know that I don't really invest in any keyboard stuff, like I have all these retail boards and I've built custom keyboards before, but none for myself, always for other people. So when I was given the opportunity to build this keyboard for review, I was actually really excited, especially since I see myself actually using this as my main for a while, but as always, I'll always be honest in what I say. I actually opened this a while ago, so I can't remember how it was packed and stuff, and it looks like there's been a little bit of damage on the inside from someone in the house and a few marks here and there, but they weren't there before. Anyway, I picked out the velvet color, obviously because of red velvet, obviously. The other colors look pretty awesome as well, with some traditional but also other colorful options. Alright, so let's take it all apart. It's using hex screws for everything. I have some Phillips heads as well, but on the final one it'll be all hex. Oh, and also throughout the video you're gonna see the red in different lighting. Sometimes it'll look vibrant and other times it'll look deep, which obviously applies in real life too. First up, we have the top aluminium piece. Not much to it, very light but sturdy as. There's two sets of screw holes, one for screwing it into the base and the other for the plate, meaning that it's a top mount design, which we'll see later, and there's some grooves for alignment when putting it together. The bottom piece is what really does pack the weight. Just a solid chunk of aluminium, like you can kind of tell here it's not shelled out like you would see on a normal retail sort of mech. There are some marks and stuff under where the weight would be, which is fine, it's totally out of the way, just something to note. Now the weights are in two parts. There's the Singa brand plate, which is made from 2mm stainless steel and is sandblasted. Picks up oils like crazy, so don't touch it too much, but the finish is beautiful, just nice and even. And the logo is classy. Again, you won't see it much, but at least you know it's there. And then we have the signature lion head, again made from sandblasted stainless steel, except it's 3mm thick. The plate is in the same stunning deep velvet red. From what I can see, you can choose whatever color you want with the kit, and the finish is so nice, just so damn silky. I really do love this color. It's made from 2mm thick aluminium, and you can see the screw holes around the edges for that top mount design. And finally the PCB. I think this is the first Wilbur PCB I've built with, and you expect quality when it comes to that name, and it really does look beautiful. I'm far from a PCB guy, but purely on aesthetics it's gorgeous. It has a transparent solder mask on both sides, which is interesting, so you see all these copper traces running around. The layout is as follows. Apparently it's a new layout, so probably different to the V1 and V2 Singers. But yeah, a basic 75% layout with the option for split backspace, step caps lock, and just a few bottom row variations with 6U, 6.25U, and 7U spacebars. And as always, you should test the PCB with some tweezers, but obviously I didn't do that because I trust. It also has these snap-off bits, again something I'm not accustomed to, so I was a little apprehensive, but they do snap off quite easily. Since this is going to be my keyboard, I did think about what key switch to put in, and I gotta be honest, I'm a sucker for lubed linears, and that's exactly what I went for. But also purely to be unique for the video, I grabbed some Gateron ink yellows and took the time to lube them up. These were extremely difficult to clip in. I did try other key switches and they were absolutely fine, fit in perfectly. Just these, unbelievably tight that I had to put in all the key switches into the plate first, which I never do, because I just couldn't get the leverage to properly click them in, and this did take a while to get it all down, and we'll talk a bit more about the key switches later. Putting it back together, we can see how the plate screws into the top piece, which we refer to as top mount, rather than screwing it to the bottom, which you see on most budget cases and pretty much all retail boards, which would be tray mount. And basically this creates a more even feel while also not being too stiff. And here it is, all done. This is a chunky boy, especially with the rear view. It's just a flat back with the centered USB Type-C port. Looking at the side profile, it gets a little bit more interesting, and I believe that this has an 8-degree incline. The bezels are sizable, not thick, not thin, just a good amount to show off the aluminium. There are chamfers on most of the edges, with some cutting off before they reach the corner. On the bottom, the stainless steel line head is the star. It's a very geometric kind of angular design, which I like for simplicity. Not too overpowering at all, and I think it does look lovely with the red. Back to the colour, I can't get enough of this, it's just so pretty. The anodization looks clean and even, and the two halves look to be matched pretty well. I know for sure a lot won't agree with GMK Space Cadet, so here's GMK Hamon. A more traditional take, I would say. Let me know what you think, because I definitely did grow to like the weird combo of Space Cadet and the Velvet Red over time, but these are my keycaps anyway, big thanks to my mate Eric, so I'll have to buy something to chuck on this in the future. The layout is quite a traditional 75% one, besides the spacer next to the arrow keys. Some people don't like the lined up number row and function row. I don't mind it personally, but yeah, it can look a little weird and cramped to some. But as I said at the start, I was pretty excited for this since I personally find 75% a very usable form factor. It essentially has the primary functionality of a 10 keyless keyboard, but compressed to be only one column longer than a 60%. The keyboard is configurable via the VIA configurator, but I like it as is, so I didn't change anything. Typing experience is awesome, you can't go wrong with loop linears. Paired with the top mount design, it's a solid typing experience. Bottom mount feels slightly dampened, there's no ping, and the sound is pretty good as well. The Gatoron ink yellows. Now, because I'm not a smart boy, I didn't properly read what these switches were. I knew they were linear, and since ink blacks are everywhere and I didn't want the reds because they're too light, I got the yellows. When I first received the key switches, I realized something was off, but I kinda dismissed it. And finally, after getting it all together, I was like, why do these feel so weird? And that's because they have a 3.4mm total travel. rather than a more standard 4mm. And I just facepalmed. It's of course a personal preference thing. I prefer the full 4mm because yeah, it just feels like I'm being prematurely stopped. Definitely got used to it over time though, but I'm ashamed to say I wish I had the ink blacks. In stock form, they're pretty smooth, what you'd expect from Gateron, and wobble seems just about the same as normal. It does have the different stem though, which is only on the yellow, and everything else is standard, so you can switch stuff around. So all up, I'm just really happy. I don't often get these opportunities, so I'm super grateful. There's not too much bad to say, it's been executed really well. I like the design, how it looks and functions, and layout is always a personal thing. I'm not really sure what the differences are from the previous versions, but the new Wilbur PCB is for sure a welcomed addition. And finally, it isn't a group buy. I can go straight to the Singa KBD website and order one, so that's pretty cool. Not often how it's done in the custom mech world, so no messing around with group buy woes and waiting times, and it is a custom, so don't expect a cheap keyboard because it's all about quality.